Welcome to Yoga with Dogs. Grab your mat and your doggo. Today is day 23 out of 30 days of yoga, where my challenge to myself is to incorporate yoga every morning to increase my discipline and my knowledge and my skill sets with yoga. First, let's just start out in a hero pose, or if you want, you can get into a child's pose. I'm going to lower down to a bit of a stretch, kind of a altered puppy pose, because my lower back has sort of been bothering me. Take this time to find your breath, stretch your arms out and rest your head on your mat. Try to get your breath to where you breathe in for at least 4 to 5 counts and breathe out 4 to 5 counts to slow your breathing and truly come into your body. Walk your hands from side to side to increase the stretch down your side body. Claw through your fingertips to increase the stretch in your shoulders, your arms, and elongate your back. Transition up into a tabletop pose. And let's get into some cat-cows to awaken the spine. I breathe in on my cow and exhale on the cat. Push the floor away with your legs and your palms as you arch your back. When you go into your cow, release your shoulders down and drop them away from your head to increase that curvature of your spine. Find some movement, rocking back and forth, warming up the wrists, and just introducing a flow of movement all throughout your body. You might want to rock your hips side to side, do some circles, clockwise, then counterclockwise. Under and hover, raise your hips and your knees up a bit. Get your arms and wrists used to carrying the weight. When ready, slowly transition into downward facing dog. Try to get your chest to be close to the tops of your thighs. If you need to keep your heels off the floor, you can. It's just whatever feels safe for you. Walk your dog, pedal out those feet, and introduce some more movements by swaying your hips, maybe doing some twists, just to loosen up after a long night's sleep. Raise one foot up in the air, but try to keep your hips and your shoulders squared off. Now stack hips, point your toe. In your one-legged dog. Raise up on your standing foot's toe. And then bring your knee and foot up to the outside of your hand. From here, we're going to be now incorporating some space in our hips. We're doing a lizard lunge. If you can, lower down onto your elbows. And today, it's yogi's choice and doing whatever feels good to your body. I am stiff, so I'm moving left and right, bouncing a little bit, spending some time, just really introducing space and movement. When ready, put your body weight back on your hips and shift your weight to where now you're in a half split. Raise your toes up to the air to really get that good deep stretch. Downward facing dog. Lift into a three-legged dog. Try to keep your hips and shoulders squared off until it's time to stack the hips. Point your toe back. Raise up on your standing foot's toe. And then bring that foot forward and to the side of your hand. Create some space by having your foot all the way to the side of the mat beside your hand. And then lower yourself down into the lizard lunge. Rock back and forth, maybe get up and bounce a little. Introduce movement, space, and movement and lengthen just those muscles. And do it as your body tells you to, and as to what feels safe and comfortable. Now transition your body weight backwards and shift back on your hips while pulling up that foot and raise your toes up to where you're now in a half split. Do this back and forth a few times to introduce some stretching and movement in those legs. If you want to straighten both legs, front and back, you can, or you can stay just resting on your knee like I am. Go back into your downward facing dog and just enjoy the stretch in the backs of your legs. Walk your hands back to where you are now able to go into your forward fold. Clasp each elbow like I am here into the position of ragdoll. Let your head be heavy and let gravity dictate how deep your bend is. Sway back and forth, shifting your weight from one leg to another, from one hip to another. Grab and clasp your hands behind your back, and then pull your arms up and over for a deep shoulder stretch. This is really good if you work in an office or at a desk all day. This helps introduce some movement and get some of the stiffness out of your joints. Raise halfway up and then fold back down. Climb to the top of your mat back into a downward facing dog position. yourself down. To where you're in a Sphinx pose. Squeeze your buttocks. Separate your feet to either side of the mat and rest your body weight on your forearms. You're slightly in a back bend position. And when you feel ready, lift your elbows up for an even deeper back bend. If you have lower back problems, just make sure you listen to your body. The more that I do this on a daily basis, the more limber I become and the less chronic pain I experience. Of you, and when ready, roll over, placing one foot behind the other kneecap so that you get a very, very good deep stretch in that shoulder blade. Again, do what your body tells you to do is safe. When you first start doing yoga, especially as an older woman like me in your 40s, your bones, joints, muscles, and limbs may not be accustomed to such stretches. So only do exactly what your body is telling you is feeling good. And focus on breathing. Elongate your breaths. Create serenity and peace in your mind and with your breathing. This is your time to not think about anything else except coming within your body, taking care of your body. You don't have to think about work, kids, or chores. There's no such thing as bills. There's no such thing as responsibilities. It's only breathing in and out and stretching. Count of 4 or 5, and then slowly release. Coordinate the movements in rhythm with the breath. Get yourself up into a seated position and lower yourself down to your back. Into a reverse tabletop. This feels so good for your shoulders. Get all the way back down and hug your knees into your chest, giving your lower back a little bit of love. Put your feet as close to your heels as possible and go into a bridge pose. Push your hips all the way up to the ceiling, and for an even deeper bridge pose, squeeze your shoulder blades underneath your back and clasp your hands underneath your lower back. Keep your butt tight and tense. Now roll into your back. Give your back a nice little bit of massage. Give it some love. And we're going to stretch out our hips across cross one leg over the other, thread your hands through and grab the back of your thigh. Keep both feet flexed to protect your knees. Don't hyperextend anything. Feel the deep stretch and just keep it there as you breathe slowly in and out, enjoying this special time that's just for you. Without forcing anything. Let's transition into happy baby. Try to put your knees into your armpits. Grab your feet, or if it's too much, just grab your legs, your ankles, whatever feels good. Now expand and take some time to stretch your legs out if you can. Maybe one leg and then the other. That lower back. It's always good. Pull yourself up and let's give your abs a little bit of a warm-up for the day by spending a small amount of time in boat position. Practice for this morning. Let's just do some basic stretches that I've always had in my life ever since my days as a young girl in ballet class. Just some simple side stretches with your legs extended out, maybe some forward folds and butterfly. Rock around on your sits bones, find a good spot. Create a little bit of heat with the fluttering of your butterfly position. I like to do a lot of head rolls and looking up at the sky and then tucking my chin a lot because I do have a stiff neck pretty much every day of my life, and that always feels really good to me. just repeat on the other side. Get your hip back into its socket. And then straighten up with one leg straight out, the other in, to have your foot touch the inside of your thigh. Lean forward and grab that flexed foot. And then progress into a point. Hinge forward to where you don't necessarily need to have your face touching your knee. That's not necessarily a sign of flexibility. But if your chest can come as close to the top of your leg as possible, that's kind of where you want to be. This I like to call as the pretzel for me. Putting one leg over the other. Push your knee into your chest while you put your other hand behind you and look behind you to get a nice spinal twist. Then bend over, stack your knees one on top of the other and bend over to get a good deep twist in your hips and thighs. Over your stacked knees to get a deep stretch in that hip and thigh. Now just get your legs wide open. Bounce the legs up and down to warm up those leg muscles. Point and flex, point and flex. Let's do some center stretching. If you're working on your splits, this is going to help you. Make sure you keep it for about 20 seconds if you want to increase your flexibility. At this point, spend some time in meditation and enjoy the slowness and the quietness of the morning before you have to go out there and face the day. You have tons of multitasking and distractions ahead of you. Focus on your breath and maybe